Hey folks, fWhip here, and welcome to my hardcore Minecraft world, where I have survived over 9,000 days and nearly 3.5 years inside the same world. This world started back in the Caves and Cliffs update part 2. Currently, we are playing on The Garden Awakens, our most recent update. This has brought so many new blocks into the game, including the pale wood and the pale moss, one of my favorite blocks to texture with stone, as I can add grass on top. Lastly, the resin block. I mean, look how beautiful it is. Yeah, so great. Okay, maybe not so great, but you can put resin on anything, and I especially love it on trees as little fruits growing. So today we are moving east back to the Dwarven city, as I want to build a resin farm in the back of a mine. Why? Well, resin bricks kind of looks like an ingot. So in this world, resin is an ore or a fruit. I don't know, it's complicated. But what's not complicated is for you to click the like button if you're excited for a big Dwarven mine. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Yeah, thanks, buddy. As mentioned, I want to build a mine to extract the resin underneath this mountain with a mine entrance somewhere around there. Small problem though is creaking will spawn within 32 blocks, I believe, of the creaking heart, so we need to make sure the farm's a little bit away from the mine. I have a goal of being able to take a minecart all the way down through this massive cave that we're gonna make so that we can get to the resin farm all the way down here at the bottom. So I need a good amount of distance to be able to take that, so we're gonna be digging out a massive hole underground. I'm also gonna need some resin to be able to build the ores within the mine itself, so we're starting here. Hopefully it won't be too much digging for the farm space today, but I decided to set up a beacon for sure just to help out a bit. And then I got to work clearing out a large square underground, as we're going to be building a resin farm designed by Works, which should net us about 50,000 resin an hour, and I don't think I'll ever use that much, but maybe. This here should be all the space that I need to build the actual farm. But during the digging, something happened. No, I didn't even notice. How I managed to dig for 500 days straight to create an entire river and didn't break a single tool. And then I break one digging out that stupid little room. So annoying. I need to go get some blocks. The sun is currently setting, and there's an item that I need a lot of, and we need it to be nighttime to gather more, as the farm basically builds itself. In here, we have 3 creaking hearts, and we've got a bunch of pale logs, which I'm gonna be taking all those. The creaking heart helps to generate more resin, and then we can use those resin blocks to create more creaking hearts. Now this here is gonna be a little dangerous, so for safety, we're bringing out some golden apples, but what I wanna do here is take all of our creaking hearts and get these activated so that the creaking will spawn when that sun goes down. Horsey, you might not wanna be here. Oh, hello, boys. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get them all to come over at me. So let's see, can I get them all following? Please, everybody. Everybody, all 6 of you. There's 5, and there's 6. And stop. Can I get you a little bit closer? Yeah, thank you. So close now. I'm gonna go there, and then they're all gonna run to this side probably. I just need to farm some resin here for a little while. I hate this so much. Oh my god, I hate this. This is why we're building a farm. That's so terrifying. Why are they so fast? Okay, we're starting to get other mobs spawning in around here, and I'm kind of curious to see if I have enough. I don't think I do, as I need like 40 something resin blocks. Come back here and craft, and I have 13. Oh, I'm gonna be here for so long. Well, actually, there's 6 in here too, so that does put me at 19. Math. I really love the idea that I'm just gonna be gathering up so much resin here to be able to build this farm. In reality, this is probably about as much resin as I would use to decorate the entire mine. 10 minutes of Duck Duck Goose later, and I think I've got everything I need, so I'm just gonna tear these out and we should be all set. And that brings us up to 48 creaking hearts, which is exactly how many I need. Thankfully, this farm's actually pretty simple, so I've got most materials that I need in here ready to go. But being on brand for my current self, as per usual, I'm pretty much out of redstone, so I need to break some more down. I'm just gonna do the full stack. I keep running out of this. We're gonna need some more repeaters. Take a quick trip down into the nether, out to my bartering farm, and hopefully we have quartz. Yes, we do. Okay, perfect. Do I have a crafting table here? No. I should really add one of those. What just happened? Why is everything dark? Hello? I've never seen this bug before. What's going on? I'm so worried right now. What the heck happened to my Minecraft? Even the main menu's gone black. What's going on? I'm restarting. Oh, okay. Right, we're still on. World hasn't ended. The game didn't corrupt. All right, here, let's go back to gathering resources. Oh, casual, so easy, so fun. I wasn't sweating at all. Wasn't sweating all over that one. Right, let's make some observers. Yeah, super easy. Let's just make 32. Do I need 32? No, but I always need more. Now, as a final material, I need some building blocks, and I figured the darker gray tone of tough could be really cool, but as per usual, I don't really have much. I'm gonna need a ton of polished tough slabs and a lot more than that, so we need to go mining for some tough. On my way back to the Dwarven area, I jumped into a nearby cave, found a blob of tough, and removed all of it to bring along with me, as I'll use it eventually. Back into the pit, I put some water at the bottom, so I should be safe. Yes, perfect. And in here, we've got all the blocks we're gonna be needing to build up the farm. This farm requires a lot of spawn proofing to make sure the creaking actually spawn in the middle of it. We'll get to the farm itself soon, but first I'm setting up the storage area at the base, utilizing auto crafters to automatically condense the resin into blocks for easy storage. From here with the base setup, we need to create a spawning platform for our creaking friends to be able to spawn in, and then we're using water to push them down here into the center. So things might get a little spooky in here for a few minutes, as this is definitely gonna be mob spawnable as well with the darkness. I don't think light levels actually affect creaking spawning, so I'm just gonna throw some torches in here, and if they do, I actually don't want them to spawn right now, so at least I can see what I'm working on. Here we're adding in, oh no, I just flooded all my redstone. Well, here we're adding in more water sources to push them into the middle, and I need to go rebuild this. Oh boy. Redstone has been fixed, and I filled in the remaining logs, but left the hearts out for now, as we don't want any spawns in here till I actually want to use the farm. Now, in order for this farm to actually work, I need to spawn-proof everything within 32 blocks of where each of the hearts is going to be placed down. Unfortunately, light level doesn't work in this case, and even creaking can spawn on glass or redstone dust itself, so slabs are going to be our easiest option by far. I'm gonna seal in the area here with the beacon eventually and get rid of all that stuff and probably just fill it in with blocks. But our entire room in here is now spawn-proofed. I left a little gap to be able to fly up here to where we have a ton of caves that also need to be spawn-proofed. Consulting the Minecraft wiki, I read that the creaking can spawn within 32 blocks of the creaking heart. So I took that as a radius of 32, and it's actually just the diameter, which means 32 blocks across the entire thing, not out from the center. So I spent a lot of extra time here spawn-proofing the caves. And that is why geometry class is important. You can save yourself a ton of time working in Minecraft. But I believe now if I clear up the beacon and seal in this base, we can put the creaking hearts in and actually test out the farm, and hopefully I got everything. Now, I believe water also counts as spawn proofing, so that's the entire beacon in there, and then, well, the entire beacon area filled in, and then we got water to drop down into. It is daytime currently, so I think that means, dang it, that I can come in here now and place in all of the creaking hearts, making sure that they are going the correct way and lighting up so that they'll actually function. And now, speaking of functioning, this is for the auto crafters right there, and then this right here should make the whole floor move around. Yes, that one moved. And the water's coming in. Amazing. Okay, that means the farm's working. Now, this entire farm design here relies on the fact that creaking can spawn even though we're underground. So I've got a clock right here, and I really should have made that a glowing item frame. We'll fix that. Oh my God, what did I just hear? Woo! Creaking. Okay, it works. That's great. It's working really, really well. And then we can just swipe. Oh, I missed the swipe. Hopefully soon resin should start falling down. I picked up resin, and I realize now that I forgot to turn on the auto crafters. So wait. Blocks of resin. Oh my gosh, the farm works. You know what? I think this is gonna work really well. Something tells me by the absurdity of how noisy it is that all of the creaking have finally fallen here into the middle chamber, which took about half the night, unfortunately, but we're getting a lot more resin now. Our sun is coming up now, so wow, my inventory is very, very full of resin. Let's just throw some of that in there. But any minute now, the creaking should be disappearing, right? Right? That's how they work. Oh, jeez, look at all the resin up there. What happened to that? Oh, yeah, okay, yep, they're all gone. Right, they're all gone. How did I lose so much resin up here? Okay, I'm making those full blocks. We're leaking resin all over the floor. I don't even know how it fell down here. That's through blocks. Almost 2 stacks of resin just scattered along the floor down here. All of our holes should be patched up now, minus somehow they're phasing through the walls, but that's okay for now, as our grand total here is almost 8 stacks of blocks of resin, and a few more are still coming in off of just one night. That's nuts. Yo, I'm really starting to think I'm gonna like this farm. That's definitely enough resin to be able to build a mine out of. We can move on to decorating now, and unfortunately, I need to dig out the cave space in the mountain first, so I need shulker boxes, which I place down at the front entrance to run back to as I clear out the space, then jump down underground to set up a beacon again closer to where the mine is going to be, as it needs to be a bit far away from the resin farm itself. Everything is ready to go, and I'm really watching the pickaxe durability now, so I started on the front entry chamber leading into the mountain, hooking to the right and curving back into a large central chamber, as I want to instantly feel like I'm in a mine instead of being able to see outside. We'll reshape a lot of the walls later on, but I'm liking this look so far as we walk in the main entrance. Then I had the idea to install a light shaft from above, reaching skylight down into the mine itself, so we can have another way to track the day cycle and know if creaking are about to spawn outside instead of using the clock, and I believe this can actually help create a really fun atmosphere inside. With that in, I dug out the remaining blocks to reach the back of the mine itself before moving into the next phase, where I want to bring the floor down to create a better sense of scale on the inside and add more general interest to show the space being mined out. We'll be bringing the walls in with the texturing phase, but for now I am pushing the ceiling up near the light shaft. The 12 original shulker boxes I brought over are now completely filled up, so I've brought another 8 here that we can use to hopefully store everything from the bottom floor. Inside the mine though is starting to look pretty cool back here, and I think it's got a lot of space that we can use for decorating, and the walls are going to come back in a little bit as we incorporate our rocks, but I do want to extend down here leading into a second floor. And I want to have about 2 or 3 blocks of space in between the layers, so I need to slope this down just a little bit for a place that we can add a torch in, and eventually our minecart's going to be able to come down here too to actually access the farm. This brings us down 7 blocks over the lowest point up above, so I feel like if I take it down just another 2, then we can start adding some big tunnels reaching off of here. Winding down farther underground, I was able to connect into the bottom of our resin farm. Unfortunately though, creaking will definitely spawn here, so we'll need to be careful of that while working. It's currently nighttime and they all spawned in there before I dug it out, thankfully, but that means the farm is not currently fully functional. I did up towards the top also add this offshoot here just for some extra interest on our minecart ride, so we can detail it with our resin as if they're mining out a new chunk here. It does look nice just bringing down and hooking around that side, but I think we could have more over here. So I'd like to add a few more offshoots like we have on that guy, just reaching out underneath the large chasm that we've dug out. All right, there we go. Coming into here, we have this main little entry room, and then it splits off down there. We're gonna have like a geode in the edge of that, and then we got another one splitting here and back that away. It won't be something that we'll see a ton of, but it'll be kind of cool to be able to explore down here, and my pickaxe is almost broken, so I think that's a good point to stop digging this out. Between the massive space we have up here and the smaller one down there, I think we can make a really cool mine out of this. Grabbing my last Silk Touch pickaxe here, I'd actually like to first focus on the outside and work on an entrance into the mine, where I was thinking for this, we need to start giving ourselves more build space by sending it probably this way, just add a bit of an angle. I don't want the entrance to be massive, but I want to make it look like they've refortified it with like a Dwarven gate of sorts. I'm gonna be cleaning up this mess here as I need to replace it with a new mess of blocks to build with. Nothing fell down there? Good, good, good. My goal is to build up a big entrance and surround it with some large rocks to increase the height of this mountain space to give myself more room to work with. I've unloaded everything except I've kept some stone, dirt, and grass on me. And in here, I also want to pick up some coal ore as well. I have 5 shulker boxes full of it. Oh, I have even more. Outside of that, I'd like to use some andesite. We'll throw some dripstone in for texturing, and I should have a little bit of basalt. And for once, I actually have all of the deep slate and tuff that I need for myself. We'll bring some cobblestone and mossy cobble to texture with. And then I know I use some cracked stone bricks and stone bricks on the big buildings, so we might do that here too. Now for the rocks, we also need some highlights. And in this region so far, I've been using our light grays, which I actually have a decent amount of wool and powder in here. Perfect. Back at the house, I crafted down a few different copper detailing components as I want to use these for a trim on the build. I've got almost everything I need at this point in time, except I need about 300 acacia wood, and then we'll grab some resin back at the farm as I feel like we're making a farm for it, so we gotta use it in the build. Our next stop is out here at the acacia tree chopping island, where thankfully I have enough saplings down so they grow up quicker than I can chop them, so I can just keep going for it. Here is just about everything we are going to be needing to build the exterior of this place, but we can take a quick trip down here to the farm itself as I need to get out of there and grab some resin to craft with. Oh, you have to smelt it. Oh, I completely forgot. Well, good thing we already have another dwarven village in the world right in here. And this has a super smelter. So we can load all this in here and should be good to go. Our smelter is finished and I am very excited to find that it's only 4 stacks of bricks to make a brick block, where it was 9 stacks of the resin to make a block of resin. So this is a great trade. Let's just make ourselves some slabs, stairs, and a few walls. I wasn't the most happy with this block texture. That's the ceiling, but I want to give it an honest try here, so we're gonna throw it in the build. So after we finish the build today, let me know down in the comments what you think about how I use the resin, and do you like it, or do you just hate the block? For the cave entrance, I'm taking a similar idea for the large stone archway from the gatehouse leading into this region, as I still want it to feel oversized in true dwarven fashion. This here is starting to look good, and on these guys I want to add in some fire pits and then some pale moss carpet reaching up the back as a way to add a little bit of flair for the pale garden biome itself. Moving up to the next level, we need to add a little bit more interest than just a big old flat wall, so I'm thinking we have a little highlight in here, and then this entire section I'm building right now is gonna be pushed back a block, making it a touch darker in here with our deep slates, and probably tough mossy cobble, then right in the middle a wax cut copper, just because we kind of use that over on the build over there. A few more blocks thrown in and we're ending up with something a little bit like this. Then I was thinking right back in here, we can take some of our wax exposed copper bulbs, and I've got a button that doesn't light both of them, but they will stay on, and then we can cover them with a little bit of orange glass. Right, this is starting to look pretty good. With the main face thrown in, I rounded off the sides like we have on the other builds here and created a trim on top using the resin again with a flat platform for a roof behind it. The last thing for our entrance is to flip this right over here and add in a small hallway, and I think it's looking pretty good. I darkened the top a touch with our cobbled deep slate in here just so it feels a little taller. I like to work onto building up the rocks next, but in order to do that, I need to clear this terrain back a touch on this side. And much better. Okay, time to rock and roll. Get it? Rock and roll? Because I'm building rocks, and these rocks just so happen to be round so that they could also roll? Man, I am so funny sometimes, it's impressive. Okay, well, I decided to build up a ton of rocks, as mentioned, copying a similar style to the path region, as we're not too far away from it, but adding in a lot more moss on top of these to show a little age and also the lushness to it. Right, that there's just looking so much better. God, I am really happy with the entrance right now. To finish this off, I do need to remove the floor in front of the entrance so that I can replace it all with dirt and a road leading in with packed mud. And our rail is now in place leading over to here, where we can get in a minecart and go off down into the mine once we finish setting it all up. But first, I need a building to more safely house our minecart to quickly jump in and go for the ride. It's just a little guy here, but to help ensure mobs can't walk in, I'm gonna add a trapdoor right there so that I'll at least stop the skeletons and zombies. Unfortunately, creepers can still get in, but it's at least a start. We definitely need more decoration out in front, but this is a really good start to the mine. And to be honest, I've spent far too much time here dealing with rocks. So it's time for nature and time to plant a field. field. Returning to my favorite part of the world, it's time for my favorite segment of every episode. We're planting a brand new wheat field within the farming region we just built up. I've went into a full-on rabbit hole planning out a new expansion here, which I am insanely excited for. So jump into the rabbit hole with me and please subscribe. Don't worry, it has water at the bottom, so it's safe. But we will be clearing out millions more blocks to make it all happen. So if you want to see this world continue to grow, subscribe and click the like button, as it helps me out a ton and shows you are all still interested in seeing more videos from this world. Right across from the weaver's house, we have our new wheat field growing up. It still needs a little bit of grass, and I need that's fine. But regardless, the view behind this place is going to be changing very soon in an extremely huge way. One might even say massive. But for now, it's time to go back underground. We've got a cave to decorate. Before I get too ahead of myself here, I need to refocus on today's project. I'd like to decorate the inside of the mine and finish our minecart ride all the way down to the bottom end of the farm. So first, I needed to take a minecart ride down to the bottom of my deep slate mine and gather up a ton of the stuff. I did a quick run around gathering up some more tuff too, and came back to the storage room and crafted down a ton of different blocks to use for texturing, where I then flew off to the pale garden to gather a ton of saplings and leaves for more decorating, and ran into lumber storage at home, as I want to include all of the pale garden blocks, so I kept a few of the logs on me and crafted down a few different spruce goodies to create some supports inside. And then finally, I stopped in the watermill, where I hid the pale hanging vine farm, as I want a few stacks of these to hang from the cave ceiling. Back here at the mine, and we have a good mess of shulker boxes out in front, and I want to start with this one right here, as I had an idea on how to decorate these rocks. Since this space is about revamping the resin into being almost more of an amber, I want to include pale garden vibes in the build in general. So I added a ton of saplings and leaves outside to detail the top of the rocks within the grass as a gray toned bush. Since pale oakwood needs a 2x2 of saplings in order to grow a tree, none of these are gonna actually grow up since I spaced them out hopefully well enough. We might get a random tree up here, but I really like them as a cool gray toned ground coverage. It's almost like a dried sagebrush or something. With that, the exterior is done, and now we need to dive on inside to get to work on this mess. And for sanity's sake, I've got all of these stone slabs and stone blocks in here that are gonna make up a vast majority of the walls. First, we need to bring our stone walls in to make it look more natural on the sides, especially with the torches removed all the way up here to our next archway that's still a little dark as we enter into the grand room. But I want to next bring our minecart in all the way to the front here, so I need to remove a lot of this to texture the floor. We're gonna keep a little bit of stone out there on the edge, but for the bottom, I really want to work in a lot of our tuff here. We're gonna use the top of our deep slate, as I'm trying to really darken things, and then to make it super dark along here. And then again, for that vibe of the pale garden, I wanted to bring in some of our pale oak logs for the bark texture on the side here, as I think it can add something pretty cool in here. And then for our slabs, we have these guys, and of course just working in some of our tough slabs too. Then right here, I unfortunately can't put a slab as we need the rail coming down. Now we can take our rail swooping all the way over here, and I want to make sure that we're kind of varying it as it's going and keeping enough power so that we can also make our way back up here. And yep, that's something that we can make it down, and then maybe we swoop this, and then we're central here again. Of course though, we do need to put our redstone torches underneath so that these things actually remain powered, and we can just hide them right in there. With the front entry hall completed, I jumped into shaping out the inner hall and adding more details by including some mossy cobblestone and dripstone blocks along the edges of it to symbolize water dripping down into the cave, then sped around to finish building the rocks along the rest of it. This is looking pretty amazing in here now, and I did take the time to throw in all of the floor decoration, variation, and all that stuff, and a few more decorations throughout, just so that we can have this entire place spawn-proof for now. We've still got to add the mine aspect to the cave, but I have extended the rail coming about over here to where it's stopping here currently, and then I've also created where it's going to be going down further here, and then that stops about here. I just need to connect these two parts together. So I was thinking for that, we could have some spruce supports and have the minecart just kind of floating above the ground for a few. And then it's probably going to be headed over this direction. You know what? We'll drop it down through here. Make sure they're all going the same direction. And then we can use planks to move it down again. And it is now connecting down here pretty perfectly to here. where we can just turn this and send some rails moving up. But I think between all of these posts, I have an idea on how we can get our powered rails in. And that's going to be using the edge right over here to activate that lever. And then I'll just flip the trapdoor back closed. And then we can do this on all of them just so that we can get a little bit of detail. Right, that's looking pretty good. And we've definitely got the powered rails to be able to move ourselves back up and also easily coming down with gravity behind us. And then where this light beam currently comes down right over here, I want to include a machine. Well, here we have a mining rig. It's maybe a little modern looking, maybe, but it's kind of a cool vibe for the dwarves. I honestly just couldn't think of a better way to create like a small hand drill or anything, so this is going to work for now for giving the idea that they're mining things. But now we need to add in the stuff that they are mining, as I want to use our resin as if it's like an amber they're extracting from the world, so we need to bring a lot of it around here to make it look like this mine is very, very plentiful. I'm kind of going off of how Minecraft does the raw ore veins that you can find, where they'll have actual blocks of raw iron in between all of the ores, at least here in the middle. And I like this being like a really, really plentiful point that they dug into. And then of course I have a little bit being displayed right over here behind some spruce trap doors. And then we've got a few more bits in the wall. I just need to go through and add them scattered around the entire place. On every resin ore block that I added, I made sure to cover every single visible face that we have, so it actually looks like, oh, okay, I missed one right there, but I can't with the slab. Gotta make sure it actually looks like a Minecraft ore texture of sorts. Even with a few little remnants left in the wall back up here, this is looking really, really good. And it doesn't make it all the way down, but I want to just make sure that the minecart works as we're going throughout it. And this is feeling really, really cool. Oh, I'm really happy to have an actual minecart to get down into it instead of just a water elevator. It just makes it so much more fun. Ignore all the zombies living inside the walls. Yeah, they definitely didn't light that up. Okay, cool. That gets us all the way here. To move further to the bottom, I grabbed some more stone and slabs to shape out the space a bit more and bring in the same vibes in all the way down to the resin farm, making sure to spawn proof it as much as I can. Since when can creaking spawn on rails? What is going on here? I put carpet on everything. Oh, I need to put slabs on the top. Don't do that. I was gonna show y'all I finished the entire thing. We got our little resin bits on the side as the ore spawning in. And then the creaking had to arrive. Okay, so this whole thing in here apparently needs to be slabbed. And that brings us down here to the farm, which is looking a little ugly in this room. And these are definitely spawnable, so we need to deal with that. The entire track is pretty dark, especially back in the corners out there, but I did actually make sure to spawn proof the entire thing, so we get some cool vibes with the light levels as we're going down. Just got back from grabbing some more tough blocks, and oh my god, look at him! Small drop life! Woo! It's only 10. I really should be more than that. Anything else, please? Oh, fine. We're gonna S up to 13. With that though, let's jump in the minecart and head all the way to the bottom. I want to spend a little time down here creating a bit more of a room instead of just walking into this gross underbelly of a farm. I won't be able to make it perfect because we have to deal with the farm around us, but I can at least add some little bit of stuff along. I just need to be really careful about timing this so that there aren't a ton of creaking spawning while I'm here, and it is getting to be nighttime. I want to work some of the resin in, but unfortunately I don't think I have enough right now, so we need to run the farm, but I can't really run the farm right now, so we're just gonna leave some gaps. So I just need a few. But maybe I can work in a few archways here that we can have for this, and that's how I can hide a few blocks. So let's come in by 5, and that'll be right before the farm, and then I can just get rid of these. Guess we can see that through the glass. I can't do it there. Bummer. Oh, they all spawn. Oh, they all spawn. Why are you spawning there? Let's get rid of that. Okay, no. Okay, right. Running away. Oh, you can spawn all the way out. Oh, so many problems. Right, I think that should fix it. I believe I have finished everything, so we could start gathering up some resin off these guys. And I did install the armor statue mod, so I put this clock up there. It was previously here and made it a little bit bigger. And our last block of resin is in here, so I can finish the wall. And I believe it's completely spawn proof now across the entire way. That was so much more difficult than I thought it would be. Yep, there's no creaking back here. That's good news. And to spawn proof above the minecart track, I just threw these in like there's a pipe coming through. It's not the best, but it works. And now our dwarven resin mine is complete. Oh, I'm very happy with that. Got about half a night of farming in there, and that's a decent amount of blocks for it, and filled in the rest of the wall. And oh, I am very happy to have this project done. Now that we have our resin mine and have canonized resin being an ore in this world, well, I want to build some fruit trees. To the east, I'm building a huge farming region full of fields. I've already included a fruit tree orchard using flower pots with saplings to look like our fruit. But when resin was added to the game, I thought the clumps could make some amazing fruit trees, and I'm excited to finally add these into my world. Was it the entire reason I built the resin farm? Yes, but here we have our first ones in with acacia leaves filling in the space right next to our gray sheep pasture we have over there. We're using oak fences and mud brick walls here for the smaller trunk and branches, and then I scattered a few wheelbarrows around just with a simple composter to design. And I really like the little orange pop, almost as if they're growing like, not really an orange tree, maybe like apricots. I don't know, some little fruit thingy growing on the trees. It looks pretty good. So good that I want to add in another orchard on the far side of the region next to our other watermill and the small creek. I didn't really know what I wanted to do here with the creek, but I knew I loved the trees right up here growing over it, so I thought we could kind of bring that same vibe in with our little fruit tree orchard here as well. I think this one's a little bit bigger than our first, and I think it adds a nice man-made element into having even more nature in the world. Do still need to come and texture down here, but that's a future fWhip problem. As well, from this side, the area is starting to look so cool. I know we're like way off tangent for what we were doing, you know, with the mine and the resin and all that stuff, but how about another tangent? We have two boats here in the city. Let's introduce a Dwarven boat. Kind of tangent, kind of related to where we were. Yeah, I want a big Dwarven gravel barge right here. Gonna look cool. I've got all of our blocks together here, so it is time to make some magic happen through the form of a time lapse. This is a new style for me building a barge, but I am really excited to look into more dwarven things that aren't your typical underground in a cave type of dwarf, but more of a steampunk meets almost brutalist build style that I think will be fun to bring to life throughout the entire world. I know this one is not directly related to the resin, but ooh, actually maybe they're delivering the gravel over to the city that is rock debris that they mined from within the resin mine. Lore, we got the connection. Anyways, though, I'm really happy with how this boat has come out. We got a little house inside of here for the captain to be able to steer the ship. They can see through the grates super well. And then they've got a little spot to hang out along the back here, and you can kind of get on top of it where we got some machines and piping and just smokestacks going up. And then the powering is all of that somehow powers these wheels, which is how it moves around. So trying to go more for that steampunky aspect, gears, being able to move the ship. I'm not going for like full propeller engines or anything quite yet in this world, but I think this is a really fun little vibe. I love how much it almost looks like a tugboat, but more like a barge, as you know, that was the goal, so hopefully it does. But that, my friends, is all I have time for today. Thank you so very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please be sure to click that like button down below, as it helps me out a ton, and subscribe already if you haven't. With that, my friends, I'll catch y'all on the fWhip side.